What's up? My name is Jen. I am a figure painter and a content creator, and welcome back to my channel where I share everything about how to live more creatively. I know what it feels like to completely lose your creative spark, and so I make content to make sure that you get it back. Today I will be doing a studio vlog where I will take you from start to end of my workday as a full-time artist. Before we begin, I humbly request that you like this video and click the subscribe button. If I tell you it'll make my cat Tazo extremely happy, would you do it? Subscribe to give Tazo a treat. Anyway, onto the vlog. Tazo! Yeah, so much better. Why did I not think to do that? Okay, so I'm gonna do a studio vlog where I take you from start to end of my typical workday. But some things on my list, there's this gallery that I'm going to submit to. There's this residency in the area that I want to apply to as well. I'm gonna photograph some artwork as well as get some social media posts together. And I also have my blog post because on Mondays I post on my blog. First, I'm gonna make some coffee. Let's get started. So low-key, my favorite part of making coffee is choosing a coffee mug. I have so many. Not too many though, there's room for more. Maybe not in this particular cabinet, but I could get a new cabinet for more mugs. Anyway, then I select a coffee pod, pop it on in there, wait longingly within the aroma of freshly brewing coffee, add my selected sweetener. Today it is brown sugar, but sometimes I use vanilla syrup or something else. I also typically add a little bit of milk or cream, and then I'm off to my studio to start the day. First item on my list is to write my blog post. So typically, sometimes I write these ahead of time, either over the weekend or just whenever the thought occurs to me on this particular day. It happened to be a day where I wrote and published the same day rather than scheduling. It really just depends on how busy my week is. On this day, I wrote a little blurb about creating my painting series, Breathing, the inspirations behind it, and how I made it, just to let my audience know a little bit about the behind the scenes. I also find that writing this blog helps me digest the work myself. By moving back and forth between actively painting, which I consider to be something subconsciously created, I'm able to connect with the active brain when I write, the conscious brain, which allows me to discover more about the work myself and what kind of moves I might want to make in my career in the future. We have finished the blog post. I'm about to format it and put it up on my website. Before I actually go into my blog post to format everything, I'm actually going to go into Lightroom and throw some of my photographs in there and kind of pick out what photos I want to include in the blog post. So let's do that. Uploading this slideshow of the work that I've made recently, I'm noticing that there's some work missing, which means that I need to go and search my little storage area over here and take some photographs to include. So let's do that.
What is it, Tazo? Yeah.
So it looks like this is the one that I had needed to photograph. It's a little bit bendy. It's what happens when I don't have a storage unit yet. So we need to photograph this guy and put it up there. So now I'm going to finish uploading the photos into here. I typically airdrop from my phone to my computer, so. We are done with the blog post. I have just published it, so now I'm going to make some Instagram content to let people know that I published it. Here we go. Blog post, I've published it, and I've also told Instagram followers that it exists. So next I'm going to make out the plan for the rest of my day, and I'm going to create my little to-do list on my little whiteboard so that way I keep on track and I stay focused. So now let's submit to some galleries. prior to filming, I had already submitted to some open calls for artwork. Open calls can be any gallery, magazine, or organization that's interested in publishing or hanging your artwork. Prior to filming, I had already submitted to a few and one had accepted my proposal, so now I am submitting back to them the requested photographs for them to publish in their magazine. So one thing I've noticed is there are some pieces that I would like to include that I haven't fully photographed yet, so I am going to take a break from applying to this to photograph the artwork. What is wrong with them? Those dumb cats. So now that I'm outdoors, I'm gonna see if I can find an overcast shaded area to photograph my artwork in. The clouds act as a natural softbox over the painting, so if you try to photograph in direct sunlight, it will create a glare and some harsh lighting, so I want soft lighting. So I'm going to look around for some soft light. Alright, this corner is as good as any. I found a shaded area and I lay my painting flat down on the ground. While photographing, I'm looking for parallel edges between the edge of the viewfinder and the edge of the painting. While reviewing photos, I try to zoom in as far as I can to ensure the focus is crystal clear, because you can fix a lot of things in post-production, but focus is the one thing you cannot change after you put the photo into your editing software. Alrighty, I think these photos will do. So I'm gonna throw them into Lightroom, edit them up, and see if I can get them together for that submission. After submitting my work to 2 open calls, I switched gears to apply for that residency that I'm interested in nearby. Applying to this residency took much of the time out of my workday, as there are specific requirements for these kinds of applications. They request the files to be named in a certain way and for them to be sized a certain way. So I had to go through each of these files, edit, rename them, resize them, and I also had to keep these files in a specific folder of my computer so that I can always remember what I applied to. I also list them out on a Google Sheet with the date that I've applied as well, in case I need to follow up if I haven't heard back. Soon after, it's time for lunch, and I'm not gonna lie, I almost wanted to make something super aesthetic and cute just to show off in the video, but it was a lazy day. Pizza it is. And so I ate lunch watching a comfort show before returning to my art studio. The rest of my day goes pretty calmly. I got done much of what I had hoped to. I spent the rest of my day coming up with some painting concepts, just messing around with paint. This is one of the most important parts of my day because it helps remind me what I'm doing it all for, the feeling I get when I paint. Also, a requirement for the end of the day is cleaning up my workstation. I also make sure all of my brushes are clean, paint tubes have caps, a bad habit of mine is not putting the caps back on, and clearing out anything that Tazo, my little kitty, might want to mess with. And that's it. That is my typical work day as a full-time artist. If you enjoyed any part of this video, definitely click the like button, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. This is where I shall bid you adieu, though I do have one more thing to say before I go. From the bottom of my heart, I truly do consider it a gift that you chose to spend any amount of time with me in my art studio today. I know that there are so many things you can do with your time. Spending any second of your day with me enjoying art is truly a gift, and for that, this humble artist says thank you.